Alright, we're doing it. We're going. We're in a game. Oh man, I just realized I could have spent all of that time actually, you know, updating my overlay properly instead of just waffling around. But, you know, just like back when I was in college, I did the classic leave it to the last second and not have everything updated in time. Anyway, at the top left as the orange Zerg, we will have Zamu HC, and at the bottom left as the brown Protoss, we'll have TOT Eriador, aka Liquid Drone. Wait, is it just me, or did he change ID for this game? I could have sworn he was using the Liquid Drone ID before. That's actually what it says on my thing, right? Wait, are Liquid Drone and Eri not the same person? I am so confused now. Is this like actually a different person who's smurfing as Eri or something? What is happening right now? Alright, well... I'm slightly confused. And I believe this is a round of 8 now as well, so I'm just gonna update that. See, they are the same person. He's smurfing as himself. What the heck? But he actually changed ID, right? Did he accidentally log out when he went to the bathroom and he logged back in on the wrong account or something? This is crazy. This is actually amazing though. Anyway, we got a PvZ. It's actually Shinny. Oh my god. No. No, it's actually Shinny. We figured it out. Oh god. Alright, what's going on here? We got a gateway expand. Gonna get scouted pretty quick by this overlord. Man, I still can't get over these like little claw things in front of the overlord's face. Look at this. Like the little mandibles. Do you guys think overlords actually eat with these mandibles? Do overlords even eat food? Because I heard somebody say that like the creep was a source of nutrition for Zerg units. So they don't actually need to eat stuff, they just, I don't know, absorb nutrients from the creep or something? But an overlord flies, right? So how the heck do they get the nutrients? Alright. Oh, people, looks like, I knew people would comment on the pronunciation of Shinny, because I have no idea how the hell to pronounce that either. Is it shiny? Is it shinny? Pornstar Hydra says it's Shany. That seems like a very non-obvious pronunciation of that. It can't be Shine. I'm definitely not pronouncing it Shine because there's a different guy called Shine. So that would just make it even worse. Alright, hold on. We got some zealots coming in here. And by zealots, plural, I mean zealots singular. It's shiny. Is it actually shiny? I could believe shiny. Alright, anyway, looks like Zelda guy's just gonna run around. He can't really fight these Zerglings. He's gonna back into the little gap here. Is he gonna get 2? I don't think so. No, not quite. He does have... Actually, that's just a probe. I thought this was a Zealot. Looks like the second Zealot actually just walked to the natural. He's gonna see the third. Is he gonna change direction on the Zealot? No, he's not. He has gotten the Nexus behind it though. He's got a nice tight wall in here. I believe there's a gap up here as well as down here. But it's not terrible. This is a really annoying position as well for Zamu. Oh wait, what? You can come from that side? Wow, I had no idea. Alright, apparently that's not as good a position as I thought. Oh my god, Eriador with the cheese. Now, I believe we saw him do this against, Eonzerg or something, maybe? And I think it worked out okay. I'm pretty sure we saw it, I casted him doing this once before. So basically, he's suiciding a lot of Zealots right now, right? So even if these Zealots aren't necessarily doing the most efficient exchanges, it's also partly a distraction. So Zamu's attention is entirely focused on these Zealots right now. And, you know, now he's gonna have a cannon in his face. He does have time to cancel this though. Oh my god, Drone is a genius. I was gonna say, the cannon actually finished too fast. And and if it shot the hatchery at that point, it would have allowed the hatchery to be cancelled. Drone is a genius! Drone is an actual genius! Oh my god, that is the coolest thing I think I've ever seen. Wow, that is so smart. I cannot believe I just saw that. I was like, that cannon finished, you know, 5 seconds too early, and Zergs is gonna cancel this. But Drone knew best. Holy moly. Oh man. Lucky Noob says, can you also just spam stop? I think you can, but I mean, with 2 cannons, I don't know if it's possible to spam stop fast enough on 2 cannons to reliably make sure they don't attack. And by the way, he also focused fire the hatchery there at the end to make sure it died. So Zamu, very sad about this, losing that third hatchery. Damn, that was so close. Whew. Alright, now it looks like Zamu's just gonna rebuild it here, but meanwhile, there's one drone trying to be a pain in the butt over here. Wow, I'm actually still reeling from how cool that was. That was actually amazing. Damn. But now the question is, what is the response from Zamu? He's actually got a 4th hatchery here. I'm a little bit surprised about this. So the problem with cannon rushing is that by investing, so that was 400 minerals that he spent right there, which means his core was actually delayed. So you can see, look at this. He's actually just completely skipping the Stargate, going straight Citadel. But you can see his tech is actually much later than it would otherwise be in this position. Which means very often when Zergs get cannon rush, they'll do things like rushing for mutas and taking advantage of the late Protoss tech to you know, just get a bunch of mutas out, run into his base, and kill him. But Zamu is actually just going for mass Hydralisk, it seems. And it's interesting too, because he saw with his Overlord that there was no Stargate. He saw the exact timing of the core. He saw the Citadel Star. There is actually a delayed Stargate here from Eriador, and I think this is quite a smart move as well, because he knows Hydras coming in are definitely a danger, and yes, he can put some pressure on with early speed lots, but you know, eventually he would need a way to actually deal with mutas if they did come out. So getting a delayed Stargate I think is great, it's fine. You don't really want to have to deal with mutas if you don't have a Stargate, because Archons don't really catch mutas with modern muta micro. Dragoons are okay, but you need quite a lot of them to deter mutas. So, you know, without the Corsairs, it's very easy for mutas to come in and snipe your High Templar, snipe some probes, just be generally very annoying. Of course, that's all kind of irrelevant here because Zamu's decided to go for 5 hatch before Lair. I don't know if this was his initial game plan or it's a response to what he scouted and what happened with the cannon rush. But it's going to be interesting to see how he actually defends the +1 speed loss. I'm going to assume that +1 in speed, you know, we'll finish at the same time here, and we're going to have a pretty strong Zealot force. Now, there is a... well, no, there's actually no SimCity anywhere. So that's actually quite bad for Zamu. He's just going to have to deal with it with pure weight of numbers. He does appear to have his Hydra upgrades, at least the speed done, and is actually, look, the armies are going to run past each other. Now, Eriador seems to have forgotten the 2 Zealots, I thought there was a Zealot here just waiting, he didn't bring it with him. Anyway, looks like speed is done. +1 is not quite done yet. Now the Zerg sees that the Zealots are here, but he's also got a lot of Hydras at the front. Is he going to counterattack? He's not going to counterattack. There were only 2 cannons here. He could have potentially actually busted the front of Ares' base. I think that's actually a bit of a mistake there from Zamu. I mean, there was no way Storm was going to be done in time right now. He saw the exact timing of the Citadel. I really think pulling his Hydras back here instead of just attacking and busting the front is a mistake. But I guess we'll see how this works out. A few drones have died. Eri now going for the spawning pool. No, changing his mind, gonna go for the actual fight here. Spawning pool is just being remade, even though this one might not actually die. Looks like, I think, well, it's gonna be close actually. Looks like a lot of Hydras coming back. By the way, look at the minimap. Eriador is getting a 3rd hatchery. Sorry, the 3rd Nexus, excuse me, at the 6 o'clock. And actually a nice cancel there as well. Doesn't need that to finish. So looks like a second forge here from Eriador as well. Just gonna really be on top of those upgrades. I don't actually know if this is +1 air weapons or if that's range. It really could be either or. I feel like, I don't know. I really don't know what this would be at this point. I mean, he's still making Corsairs, so it could very well be +1, even though at this point in the game, it would usually be range, I think, Dragoon range. And we have some Hydras coming down to intercept. He's got to be careful with the High Templars, though. Could very well get sniped, but it looks like one Storm, decent dodging as well from Zamu, and both Storms have been expended here. You know, with these small groups of Hydras, it's much easier to dodge Storms in the early game, and Zamu is actually going to take down the Zealots. 2 Zealots AFK down here, so Eri could be in a bit of trouble in defending this third base. One cannon, a couple of cannons are going to finish. Those cannons will be absolutely crucial in defending this. He's morphing the Archon as well. Does he have more units? He needs to come down out of his natural with some reinforcements, and it looks like the cannons are going to finish, and that's going to save him. Man, that was quite close there. But it looks like he actually had DTs, so that would have been fine either way. It's like nothing really to stop DTs over here. He's bringing the Overlord over. He's got no static defenses. I mean, he's been behind from the early game, I think, from losing that hatchery and losing some drones and stuff to that Zealot attack, so he's got to be careful. Looks like Robo here on the way. I really like the fast double forge, by the way, in PvZ. That's something I've been trying myself, actually, in this matchup. I quite like it. Having both those upgrades is really, really nice in this matchup. You know, because the Zerg has a lot of kind of low damage per shot but high attack rate units like Zerglings or Cracklings and Hydralisks. So the armor really helps a lot. I mean, if you compare it to, say, PvT, where siege tanks are just blowing you up with like 1 billion damage per shot, then armor doesn't actually help you that much. So having just a single forge for the weapon upgrades is fine, but I think PvZ it's quite nice. And we got the fourth hatchery here for Zamu. Of course, he did take take another natural as his third, so he does have the luxury of effectively a free fourth base. Perhaps got to be a little bit careful about getting dropped in that base, because Drone was making Corsairs. Is he still making Corsairs? He did. It was actually +1 there. He's getting the range now, so he did get +1 for his Corsairs, but it doesn't seem that he has that many yet, though. He's just got 2 here that I can see. So, you know, not a huge deal yet, but, you know, a DT drop in the top right, for example, with the Corsairs blocking Overlords, could be quite devastating for the Zerg. I think it's a very common tactic when the Zerg plays this more defensive style with the fast 4 base. Having said that, it's not a super fast 4 base because Eri's already mining happily from his third. And interestingly, he's still only got 7 gateways in total. Probably needs to add a few gateways here, I think, now that he's on 3 base. Or he might have some trouble keeping his money low. And a nice little nice little Zergling scout going down here to the bottom right. And it looks like a hive is on the way for Zamu. So it seems after that initial bit of aggression, we're just gonna chill out a little bit here. Got some lurker defense. Maybe can add a spore colony in the front. Maybe add a couple of sunkens as well. Make it super tight, super hard to defend. He's actually doing that on the other side, not at his natural, which is fine. The third base tends to be slightly weaker. And we're going to move out here. Interestingly, the DT actually being kept with the main army. Well, there's another guy over here. I'm surprised he didn't move this, for example, over to this location or at the 12. Oh no, he does have one at the 12, okay. So he does have one DT checking out what's going on there. And we're going to have to move out here, but Sunken Lurker Spore Defense is obnoxiously difficult to break into unless you have Reavers. Especially given how narrow this entryway is on Jade. So he could try like leading with Dragoons if he wants, but it's going to be pretty annoying. Attack moving is not the way to go here. Attack moving is a good way to get your army suicided. You want to lead with the Dragoons, and if the Zerg tries to counter your Dragoons with Hydras and Links, just storm it from behind. But you want the Dragoons to go in first here. Yeah, okay, so Eriador doing it correctly, doing a good job. But again, it's not the easiest thing to break, and you can see he's realized it's like, well, alright, I'm not going to just waste my army trying to attack into this. I'll just keep map control and take another base. You can see that. There's a Zergling scouting here. I guess this should have been on patrol to make sure he caught something like this. Meanwhile, a few lings actually running out. I'm not 100% sure where these were going for Zamu. Just a few lings by themselves wouldn't really accomplish anything. Meanwhile, I like this though. Eriador sending the reinforcements from his natural to actually defend the 4th base while the main army attacks. You know, sometimes lower level Protoss players will just keep the entire army grouped together, but it's actually quite important to make sure you have a few units coming down here, because Zergs really love to do this kind of thing, just send a few random groups of Zerglings or whatever to try and deny bases and stuff. So just having a small group of units like this to defend while your main army pressures, I think this is great. But it looks like Drone is actually going for the attack move here. Big storm on the Lurkers and on the Zerglings here, and it might actually pay off. It looks like he's able to kill just only 3 Lurkers here at the front. Where is the rest of the army for Zamu? Drone actually with a huge supply lead. I didn't even realize how far ahead in supply he was. And an immediate GG from Zamu. Zamu perhaps focusing too many of the defenses on the 3rd base, just instantly tapping out. I did, by the way, think I saw a DT at the top right main there as well, but I accidentally left the game before I could go check that. Wow, that was a very quick ending. I was so surprised by that ending. I didn't even change my screen back. I was really too busy talking about like splitting armies and stuff, and oh well, he died. Alright, so Eriador up 1-0 in the series. We are going on to a second game here. Anyway, going into game number 2 on Circuit Breaker. At the bottom right position as the blue Zerg, we will have Zamu HC. At the top left as the teal Protoss, we will have TOT Eriador, aka Liquid Drone. The man of many names. Alrighty, so we've got a P11 against Z5. Seems good. Speaking of Z5, where's G5, man? We need G5 to come back, play some games. Alright, so cross positions on Circuit Breaker. Could be in for a nice long game here. Zamu, presumably this game, will actually check behind his 3rd to make sure he's not getting cannon rushed. Man, I still can't believe that amazing pylon attack we saw from Drone last game. That was so cool. That was actually amazing. And, I mean, I gotta assume Ares just gonna go for the gateway expand again. Worked out pretty nicely for him. The natural is a little bit wider on Circuit Breaker, so this makes it a little bit more vulnerable to a counterattack. One nice Zerg response to early gateway expands is to just make a bunch of Zerglings and counterattack, and you know the cannon is usually quite slow, so you have a lot of time to attack the buildings from the outside, to run in, surround the zealots and whatnot. You can win a lot of games like that. I think Eon Zerg wins a lot of games by just countering the gateway expand with a ton of Zerglings. Now on Jade, it was a much tighter wall in. Is the comparison I'm making. So this is a lot more space to cover. Even if he puts the forge here, it's gonna need what, like 3.5 zealots, 3 zealots and a probe to cover this, something like that. Maybe 3 zealots will cover it. So we got an overpull expand, pretty normal. I think some Zergs have been doing things like 11 pull and things. I never actually really pay attention. I always just assume this ordering of buildings is an overpull expand, but I think you can have some slight variations on this. You can build a couple of extra drones first as well. I'm not sure exactly how much of a difference that makes. I mean, obviously, going 11 pull gives you a slightly better economy than going for an overpull. But I think it's just a small thing. So it looks like the drone's seen what's going on and is skedaddling. Zamu going for the close third here. I gotta keep reminding myself that Ares actually the Protoss player here, because he was of course the Zerg player in the first series against Bo3. So yeah, just gotta Just gotta keep paying attention to what I'm saying. Not that that really helps that much, because I like to consistently misspeak about what's happening in games. But it is what it is. I'm not a huge fan of putting two pylons together like this. Because when the Overlord comes in here, I mean, you're kind of forced to build all your tech around here, right? Whereas if you build a pylon here, you could hide tech in the corner and the Overlord might not see it. I hear it. What's happening? Oh, okay, the Zealots are actually here at the third base. Did they kill anything yet? Not really. Okay, so this is the first engagement we have between the Zerglings and the Zealots. It looks like it's gonna be a big win here for the Zerglings. Nice, oh my god, sorry, nice surround by Eri. Sorry, by Zamu. See what I mean? See? I messed it up already. I literally just said I need to try to not mess it up, and then I messed it up. And the Zerglings, not really on the ball here. Half of them should have stayed on this side. This is like when you watch the like the kids soccer leagues, you know, when a bunch of 8-year-olds are playing soccer. They, instead of, you know, spreading out on the field and passing to each other, they just all run after the ball. So it's literally just a swarm of 20 children just chasing the football around the field. Yeah, that's what that was. I know I just said soccer followed by football. I'm confused, man. I have some identity confusion, all right? Guys, I'm British, but I identify as American, all right? Leave me alone. Wait, can you identify as another nationality? Can like, could I do that? Could I just like decide that I want to be, I don't know, what would I want to be? Somebody give me an awesome country that you'd want to be, and maybe I can convert to that country. And we're dead. Alright, so you got a drone and 2 Zerglings. I mean, that's worth. Navajo Indian, Zimbabwe, Zerg. I mean, I definitely don't identify as Zerg. I'm a Protoss for life. But, you know. Alright, got speed now for the Zerglings. Alright, so you see, this guy needs to move up, or that's not gonna block. Alright. Looks like he's not gonna try though, because there's 2 cannons here. He wouldn't really be able to do that much. He could have, if Eri had a slow reaction time, he could have gone for a run by, but it's not really a good idea to rely on Eri having a slow reaction time to allow your Zerglings to run in. Interestingly, Zamu once again going for the 5-hatch Hydra no lair build, which is not bad. It's definitely a strong build. Just means you have to be a little bit more careful. I mean, you don't have any Scourge to deal with the early Corsairs, but Eri once again skipping Stargate. I clicked this earlier and I didn't say anything, but he's skipped the Stargate, gone straight Citadel yet again. I don't know if Zamu has kind of maybe learned that from the last game, or this is just the style that Zamu normally plays. But it's really interesting to see Eri go for no Stargate 2 games in a row. I'm not convinced that this is necessarily the best, or okay, not the safest. That's the word I'm looking for. The safest strategy. The problem is the Corsair is extremely important for the scouting after your first probe dies. So I feel like this build from Eri is perhaps a bit vulnerable to, you know, early cheesy shenanigans, or even just like a super fast Muta rush from the Zerg. I'm very interested to know what his response would be if, say, you know, if say Zerg took his second gas quickly. So let's say Eri loses the first probe without seeing the second gas, and then he doesn't really get a second scout off because he keeps getting denied by Zerglings. Like, he can't really scout or prevent Mutas from just killing him, right? I mean, I guess you can buy some time with the Zealot counterattack. I guess that's the idea. So you use Zealot counterattack and you make cannons in your main. But it's very interesting. I'd be interested to know the exact timings, how that works. I'm sure he's practiced this build plenty, so he knows exactly. And looks like he's actually running in here. Oh, he's trying to run into the main. Hydra's trying to block here. The drones are also coming to block, but they're on the wrong side. The Sunken doing some decent work here from the back side, but the Hydras can't really stop the Zealots entirely, but there's 5 Zealots remaining here. He is making the lair now. He's got to make some more Hydra. Speedlings coming in as well. I'm not actually sure where the Speedlings were. Meanwhile, 3 Zealots. It appears that there was another attack at the 3rd base, but that was kind of stopped here. 5 Zealots still in the main base. They're actually mostly healthy as well. Alright, one of the Zealots finally does fall, and it looks like the Zealots are going to get taken down here. They're just going to grab a few more drones before they die. You can see Drone now focused firing on the drones. It was called him Airy to avoid that confusion. Finally does lose his Zealots, but does kill a really solid number of drones and has taken advantage of that opportunity to actually expand. So this is the thing with this build though. If you can actually get away with not making a Stargate, it's quite strong, right? Because the thing is, building a Stargate and a Corsair just for scouting information is extremely expensive. And yes, you can make more Corsairs to deal with mutants and stuff, but you know, it's still a pretty big early investment. Whereas by skipping that, he actually got saved a decent amount of money, got a lot of Zealots out, got his Templars out, got his 3rd base out, and, you know, thanks to all that pressure, has now got his 3rd base up pretty safely. So, so I think this is pretty good. Oh, Nemu pointing out that he's actually scouting with the Zealot. Instead of scouting with the Corsair, he scouts with the Speedlots when he attacks. That's actually a very good point. That's actually a very good point. I didn't think of that. I mean, but it comes out a little bit slower, right? It comes out a little bit slower, but then again, because he went Citadel first, I guess it's actually not that slow. So, that's actually a great point. That's pretty cool. But see, now I'm really tempted to try this kind of thing, like a no Stargate PvZ, because my Corsair control is absolutely god-awful. So I always feel bad when I make Corsairs, because they don't really do anything for me, and I always feel like I'm spending so much money just for like a glorified scout, and holy moly, that is so many Speedlots. Oh man, he's going in now. He's going in. Oh, I just danced into it perfectly, and I think that's probably going to be game here for Ariador. Oh man, very unfortunate. Yeah, after that storm, not too much he can do. Some of the Speedlots running into the main base, the rest of them just tearing apart everything at the natural. And Zamu, I think he's going to try and hold on for a little bit, but it's not looking good for Mr. Zamu. And GG, well played from Zamu. Eri moves on to the semifinals, I believe, as that was the round of 8. So we've got our first semifinalist. I'm actually going to go have a look at the bracket to see what is going down.